Alright, so in this one, I'm going to be going over the GamePress team tier list. Now, I went over this one other time, I believe. And basically, it's just their iterations of teams that are Z tier. Usually the same team is going to have the same iteration, just one character swapped out for this guy if you don't have him, but the best one will always be there, right? Sometimes, I think they put some interesting choices, but I am not here to judge them based on their choices, just judge the list, because obviously everyone has different opinions, different history of PvP, and if you think this character is better than this character, that's your opinion. Feel entitled to have it, because that is what it is, right? You can't really force someone's opinion down your throat. Just to remind you guys, this is opinions. This tier list, I know people think sometimes it's the gospel Bible truth. It is a tier list from people that also play the game just like you and I. Some are higher rank, some are lower rank. To me, most of them are lower rank than I. And again, I don't take any criticism because they rate this guy higher than this guy. I'll just think it's interesting if someone I think is higher is lower or vice versa. So, don't take it too seriously. It's just to go over the list and see what they see as the best, right? So, Z tier. Consistent teams, offensively and defensively. All teams in this list have multiple win conditions, so they can afford to make mistakes multiple times per battle without their chances of victory decreasing. In short, these teams are clearly superior to the others placed below in the list. Okay, so they have Saiyans, movies, and then hybrids. I assume this isn't in order in each category. If it is, I disagree. It's probably in the title where it says Saiyans isn't, or hybrids isn't number one, huh? Like, it's not, but I think hybrids is. They rate Saiyans as number one. So let's look at the Saiyan roster, right? And we'll go to, like, you know, tier 1 maybe and further down, but we won't go further past that. So look at this. This is the Saiyan roster, huh? I love that the ads always pop up, right? Oh, didn't mean to click him. Yeah, I love that these ads always pop up like this. It's really fun. Okay, this is the Saiyan core. Yeah, see, they always have that one unit that can be swapped out. I mean, this makes sense. This makes sense. Easily. Angel Vegeta's always there. Namek Goku's always there. Super Saiyan 3 is always there. Yes, I agree. Grade 8 Vegeta, you always have that option of running him. I don't think he's the best option for a Saiyan team. I think he's really mediocre on a Saiyan team because he doesn't get what he needs, like on a Frieza Force team. Same thing with Nappa. You're not going to run them on a Saiyan team. They don't want to be there. I know people are trying to force them down their throat. He doesn't want to be there. Sorry. Honestly, when you run Grade 8 Vegeta on a Saiyan team, you're giving your opponent a lot easier of a win, honestly. Because people will run him over Namek Goku. It's like, thank you, I appreciate you. Like, Namek Goku could be a lot more devastating in the right hands. Grade 8 Vegeta, you really can't make him that devastating. I mean, unless you have him on Frieza Force where he can actually, like, look good, right? He doesn't look good on Saiyans, honestly. Then Raditz, HP bench, and Super Saiyan 4 Goku as a... I assume he's not really bench. He's just a sub option, right? And then the difference in the teams is obviously the Zenkai units with Super Saiyan 4 and Super Gogeta. I always preferred the second team if I were to run Saiyans, which, you know, thankfully I don't, because that'd just be toxic and boring to watch, right? But I always prefer the second team. Vegeta does support Super Saiyan 3 Goku more than anyone else here. He, on main ability, does what? Awakened Arts, Ultimate, Special Move damage, do more damage for your allies, and obviously Super Saiyan 3 Goku has an Ultimate. He has blue cards. Namek Goku has blue cards. Everyone's going to have blue cards, and he's giving your allies buffs. He has the infinite card draw speed. He has Blast Base with Super Saiyan 3 and Namek Goku, so it's a lot easier to flow on that. Given, yes, they can do strikes, but these are Blast Base units. They want to do Blast, right? The infinite card draw speed, Red Gogeta actually times out his card draw speed, but the difference that's maybe the main ticket is Red Gogeta can feint on blue card. Vegeta can only feint on Ultimate, so you have more chances to get a bullshit gimmick that is broken beyond belief with Gogeta than you do with Red Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta. I think that's the only thing that's separating them, but overall I do think the second team here is easily the best team for Saiyans. Maybe you could replace Purple Super Saiyan 4 with like another HP bench, or double defense from like Revival Goku, or Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta, who's also double defense, or double attack from like Green Raditz, or you could do a lot of things to like optimize better for your build that you're going, because this is more just an all-around build. You could go for a 10 times more defensive build than this team, and I've seen it, and it can work. It's just you're playing for timer counts at that point, and you're trying to nuke with Super Saiyan 3. Like, Super Saiyan 3 is your unit. These builds are more generalized than anything specific, which I don't think is bad. I just don't think it is the full build you'll see in PvP, because there's a lot more defensive type option to bring into this game, and with Rising Rush being so broken, with how, you get guessed, you get a second rush very quickly, you really don't need that much offenses if you just Rising Rush your opponent, right? A lot of teams don't have the sustain of Saiyans, and not rightfully so, but it is the sad truth. Then movies. Okay, let's see. That's number 2 for them, movies here. Interesting core, for sure. Okay, just a look real quick. Which one do I think is the best that I would have run? Definitely... I kind of like when Green Broly is there, as well as Green Cooler. But from picking here, what is the difference? Red Gogeta, yeah, no, hell no. Red Gogeta does not fit on movies. I do not like him on movies at all. I think he's very mediocre on movies. Like, he needs Super Saiyans, kind of like Broly. Because Red Gogeta, like, he just never will impress you. I guess this third one? I don't know. I like Green Broly. I also like Green Cooler as well. Green Broly, maybe... I don't say like. I think he's good for what he is, which is one of the best stalling units in the game, where you can't do anything against him, and it's just so busted, like, with that idea. I definitely like the third team probably the best. I don't like that Green Trunks. I think that Green Trunks is really shit. I've never been impressed by him. He's never hurt me. He's never done anything to be like, oh my god, this was an anniversary unit, because he was an anniversary unit, yes. He didn't do anything. He never does anything. He's kind of like Red Kefla. Like, you don't see him, and if you do see him, he's not doing anything to be like, holy shit, that's an anniversary unit. He's not Revival Gohan, right? He isn't him. He's very much worse. So the first team, well, I agree with the first 5 units. Yeah, that Green Trunk's just too ass. I don't understand why Gogeta Blue's core. I think Gogeta Blue does okay on movies, but he doesn't do anything insane to where, like, you need to run him on every single setup. But then, who do you have as a yellow option, right? I don't know. I don't think he's always core. I do think color synergy is a lot more important than having Gogeta Blue there. Like, if I were to really nitpick this, I would say Bojack is core with Gohan and then Gokua. Even if you're not facing hybrids, Gokua can still do fine. He's not going to be like... he'll be your worst one if you're not against hybrids, but he's still going to do fine enough to where it's warranted bringing him in as like a core member, just because Blue, Red, Purple is good color synergy. He can eat hits better than Gogeta Blue because he's transforming, and you have that EX equip. Yeah, this third team, if you just swap out the core, I would say that's my favorite, because Green Cooler is still very good. I think he's very underrated, honestly. People don't really talk about him, but they'll use him on movies, right? It's like, this is the only place you're going to use that Green Cooler, and respectfully, like, you pop a green card, then you go to rush. Like, that's it. You have a free rush from a green card with this cooler. You have Gohan, who could supply that green card. Goku, who's going to give you a whole new hand. He's going to give you blue cards, which can also feint on Cooler's blue card. His ultimate's going to do AoE damage and impact. I think, no, it gives massive explode debuff when he pops his ult, or his main ability, rather. And then you have that thing where if they don't swap and they can't swap like a green card into like, I don't know, you already had the ult in hand, like, you're going to kill that guy and do like 40% to his HP on his bench. Like, Green Cooler is very good. I don't think Red Gogeta should even be nominated on movies. LF Broly, I have said this time and time again, he is very Super Saiyan reliant. I do think Red Gogeta is starting to fall in that boat, where he is more Super Saiyan reliant than actually being an individual unit. But I don't think they're terrible. I do think, obviously, if you are missing, let's say Gokua, Broly is your other option, right? You don't really have another blue besides that, where you think, okay, this guy's a lot better. Like, it's Broly, it's LF Broly. I just don't think he's that good, is the thing. And Red Gogeta, I mean, if you don't have BoJack, I don't think you should be. I don't think you should try to run movies if you don't really have BoJack, because BoJack, with just everything he can do, you know, the sub countdown, the baby support that he's giving, his awakened arts, crazy damage, if you know how to use it properly, everything he can do, I just don't think it's even smart to run movies without BoJack being owned. And BoJack, I think, would probably return like pretty soon, if you guys are wondering. I would say, if not the next LF banner, then probably the next LF banner after that. Like, on Black Friday's LF banner, I could see a lot of these units that were from the later part of the anniversary returning, because we already got, you know, Red Kefla, Purple Vegito Blue, both Shadow Dragons. We just didn't get the LFs right. I mean, they're coming, right? We're going to get them for, like, at least the New Year step up Legends Limited Guarantee banner. I kind of feel like we're going to get Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta and Corrupted Zamasu as, like, the latest units on that banner. No, I don't think it'll be Revival Gohan, because he's very sought after. They're not going to give him, like, okay, here's a free pass to get Revival Gohan 3 times with 3 multis. You know, I think it'll return that banner, but I don't think Revival Gohan will be on it. Maybe he'll be on the step-ups of Black Friday. I think that's a possibility if, you know, Zamasu comes back on this October step-up, and so have you, whatever the case is. But I don't think he'll be on that Legends Limited Guarantee, because they know how much we love Gohan, right? So they're not going to bring him back, because we love him too much. We cannot have too much Gohan in our life. Just only 2 revivals and an endurance in a year, you know. Only. But to speak about Gohan, the main man of the hour, because he's the only unit on this team. Oh boy, what is this? Oh, I thought I saw Goten, I was going to say. Okay. Hybrids. I'm just going to be blunt with you. I disagree with the bench for the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, I disagree with the bench for the top 6 teams. You don't need to do that. You don't. Let me explain. You don't need blue trunks. I'm sorry, you don't. You don't need a blue unit. You don't need a green unit. This is the same thing as God Key, and I guarantee I'll see a team here, or a lot of teams here, where they're going to rate God Key by, okay, you're going to have a full color wheel. They're doing the same thing here with hybrids. I think they know this. I think it's pretty obvious. Hybrids don't need their full color wheel. Their units are their full color wheel, right? FSK go neutral. Future Gohan goes neutral after someone dies forever. And then Revival Gohan doesn't really need to go neutral, because what strong broken yellow besides Super Saiyan Blue Evolution and Gogeta Blue are you really facing that's going to be like so crazy you can't kill them with FSK or Future Gohan? Nothing. If there is any yellow that is in the meta, they're very squishy because they're LFs, right? There's no crazy yellow that's going to make you shit your pants at this point. Unfortunately, but there isn't, right? So Revival Gohan just kind of sits there and doesn't need to be countered out, or he can't be countered out, rather. You don't need this green trunks. You don't need this blue trunks. I think this Masenko Gohan is better health bench than Super Saiyan 3 Gotenks. I personally just run Super Saiyan 3 Gotenks because he's 14 stars. This Gohan is 7 or 6 stars for me, so he's just not as good HP bench for me. But yeah, he's a good HP bench. You don't need these units on the side. You don't need this green and blue. Just run, I don't fucking know. You could just run like double attack. Like you could just run Goten and Terminator Power Gohan, and that you're getting double attack for your main 3 units, right? You could run double HP bench. You could run Zenkai buffs for Revival Gohan, or you Zenkai buff FSK. You put Red Trunks as bench, then you put Purple Goten as bench, then you put Super Saiyan 3 Gotenks or Masenko Gohan here as your bench. Boom! You're Zenkai buffing your main 2 damage dealers, because Future Gohan's not a damage dealer. He's meant to disrupt and do all that. He, compared to the other 2, won't be hitting hard. So why not just amplify the main 2 units, right? And I don't know why none of these teams are doing that. I mean, right here they're doing it a little bit. I do agree that actually that Purple Super Saiyan 2 is a better Zenkai buffer, just because he's strike based, so he's giving 40% strike attack, while Goten gives 35%, right? But this purple red setup I also don't like, because Future Gohan is what gives you the support, right? Like, you have FSK supporting a little bit, you have Goten who can support again a little bit, but Future Gohan, him covering in, him getting hit, that is where you get your damage from. I don't think he should be replaced in any manner. I think he has to be core, just because he offers way too much, and he gives you everything that makes your hybrids hit hard. He will make your team go from a fucking top 16 to like number 1. Like, he is that unit that's doing that. I know people don't necessarily think Future Gohan is the greatest, but he is the unit that makes this team number 1. His support that he offers, again, think of Purple Cooler, right? I've done a video on him. He does the same exact thing. The difference is Purple Cooler has one of the highest stats in the game, so he tanks a lot better. But this guy disrupts, even if, you know, you don't get that cover on the blast. Oh no, you're taking a hit. That's 25% support for your other units. That's a lot of fucking support when you have one of the best stat-based blast units in the game. That's a lot of support when you have damage inflicted buffs every time you do an arts card with Revival Gohan. You have a lot of support flowing just because one hit. And imagine someone does like 3 tap blasts. That's 75% damage inflicted for 20 counts to 2 of the most damaging units in the game, given, you know, top 10 at least for FSK and Revival Gohan, especially Revival. Post-Revival, you just have a lot going. Future Gohan definitely is core. I do think Zenkai buffing the main 2 is probably the ideal hybrids team. You know, I watch a lot of hybrids players, and I think, like, if you're going to use this team, like, make your best units shine. Like, that's just as simple as it can get, right? If you're going to run FSK and Revival, and you know Future Gohan's not going to hit the craziest, even him, like, you don't need, like, stars on him. Like, he's just there to support and disrupt. Prioritize your damage on your best units. That's how I feel about it. But I don't think this is completely wrong. Them having the core of, obviously, the best 3 units in the game is correct. I just don't think you need to waste the Z ability on, you know, Future Trunks, who's going to give, what? Blast defense or blast attack, whatever he's going to give. Green Trunks, who's going to give strike attack and defense, where it's like, just Zenkai buff and then HP buff. Like, that's all they really need. They don't need, like, anything different than that. But that was E tier, S tier. Okay. Interesting. Ooh! Wait. Yeah? That's what I said. I said Frieza Force is better than God Key. Alright. I assume this is with Nappa? Is it? I hope so. Because Gohan wasn't there for this, but Gohan doesn't make the roster. It's just unfortunate for him. But again, I'm not sure when this actually dropped. Actually, this might not be with Nappa. We'll find out. We'll find out. What makes a team S tier? The teams listed here would be Z tier worthy if it wasn't for some small flaws that either make them less diverse or a bit less powerful as a whole, which hurts their consistency compared to Z tier teams. Okay, let's look at this. And I'll glance over tier 1 at the end of this just to see what's there, right? So Regeneration. What's the best regen team? Let's cancel this ad. Let's cancel this ad. Oh, no. I love it. Cancel the ad! Stop clicking Android 21! I love it. Can it? Oh my god. Best regen team. Piccolo, Kid Buu, Fat Buu. I'm thinking in my head. I don't disagree. I think that is the best regen team. Yeah. The thing is, you kind of notice the problem just right off the rip. They don't have a revival unit. I know. It's a shitty situation where you know a team's not Z tier because they don't have a revival unit that's like good enough. Yes, they have Cell, just not good enough. You looked at movies, you looked at hybrids, they both have Gohan. You looked at Saiyans. You know, you could run Revival Goku, but you have enough healing to where you don't even need to. They revive in themselves from, you know, Vegeta's just HP he gives back on main, on his swap in and outs, his uniques, everything. But then you look here, it's like, they have Cell, but, I mean, I ran Cell earlier, and he just can't take a hit, right? And he revives way too quickly to, like, allow it to mean something. I mean, I don't disagree, right? Android 21's good HP bench. Purple DKP is 35% to blast attack and defense for, like, 3 tags. Obviously, regen is one of them. And you're more blast-based. By the way, you only run Fat Buu because not necessarily how good he is. I think he is one of the best Asian units in the game because of Zenkai, but not because he is actually innately good, like damage-wise, this-wise. He locks in, right? They haven't Zenkai lock-in units in a minute. They're scared to. They haven't really released the most terrifying lock-in units in a minute as well. Like, who really locks in? That's scary. Honestly, you're going to laugh, but Cyberman. Cyberman locks in on his blow-up, and you can't do anything about it. That's very scary. That's very good. But not a lot of units do that. Kill Khalifa, their lock-in is conditional to them getting hit. That's not that good, and it only lasts for, what, 5 counts? It's okay, it's decent, but it's nothing crazy. They're more releasing, like, sub-count up units like God Topo, Android 17, all these other units, what have you. And, while I think that's fine, it still makes Boo still as valuable as he is, right? Because there's no other lock-ins to really compete with him. There's no green units to compete with him on regen. He just has insane value. Obviously, locking you in 3 times for 5 counts each, sealing your strike arts. And you really can't get anything better than that because you just tackle, they sidestep, boom, you rush. You have no downfall, and then he has stacking damage against Saiyans. Then once he's hit, he gets 100% damage on his next strike arts. And on top of doing more to Saiyans, you could just rush into that. You do the strike, then you rush afterwards. Boom. They can't do anything. They're locked in. They have no strikes. They're sealed. They either have to get lucky with the blast and catch you, or they have to get lucky with the blue card, or have like a green card barrier. But those circumstances are very limited and far and few between, where Fat Boo just has crazy value in between them, right? Kid Boo, the Vanishing God, nothing wrong with him. And then LF Piccolo, who, I mean, he can just change the pace of a game by how well you play. Like, he is a very good unit. Then the other core of DKP and Zamasu. This is more strike-based regen, which I actually do think is pretty good. I don't know why purple DKP is benched there, then. Strike-based regen, right? I would say green 21's a better bench, because she's double attack. Purple DKP maybe is just a sub-option at that point, but I wouldn't sub-option him here, because he just doesn't flow the greatest, I think. With this core of DKP and Zamasu. Yeah, but DKP works very well with Fat Boo. Obviously, the lock-in, the rush, the ball manipulation. I mean, it's a good team, right? And then you look at the blast base without the LF Kid Boo. Android 21, I guess, yeah. She's not terrible. She definitely is aging. She's one of the best aging free-to-play Zenkais in the game. But she definitely is starting to show her age. Zamasu, isn't he strike attack and defense? He might be double attack. I'm not sure. Zamasu's 6 stars the ability, but he might be strike attack and defense. I'm not sure. Which is an interesting pick then. And then the core of obviously Piccolo and DKP. I think that's absolutely the worst team. The best team is the first team, which makes sense because it's in order, obviously. But Regen just lacks in the sustainability. Funny enough, they're probably one of the least sustaining teams in the game. It's just that they're so tedious when you have this Fat Boo. You really don't notice it, but they really don't sustain that great compared to like the Z tier teams, right? Like, they're good, but they don't sustain like a team that is up there, right? They do fine, they just don't do as great as they can. Future, strike-based Future. Oh, I love to see it. LF Rose getting respect, please. I'd love to see. Oh, it's beautiful. Even Blast-based Future makes this list, huh? Blast-based Future over Strike-based Future. Interesting. I definitely agree with that third team. That's definitely the team to run, by the way. That second team, I don't like the idea of mixing Strike and Blast. I've said this so many times. A lot of units nowadays really don't like that concept where you mix a Strike and Blast arts. Like, I don't know, New Nappa, right? His Blast is dog shit. It's complete dog shit. So you want to run him on a Strike-based team. That's how that works out, right? He makes strikes for fuck's sake. Like, he wants strikes. He's begging for them. I don't like units like this Blue Trunks, where he's going to be on a strike-based team, and then he's only there because he's a good Zenkai, not because he's actually good on that team. He doesn't really fit, right? Mai's obviously the HP bench, if you don't know. But the first team, I think it's way too squishy. I don't think it should even be here, honestly. It's way too squishy. You don't have much to sustain at all. Like, yeah. Purple Vegito Blue doesn't do that well. Trunks is your carry. If Trunks dies, you lose. Like that. That's just straight up it. I don't like that team at all. I'm just going to move past it, actually. Rose, Future Gohan, and Zamasu. I do think that's a good core. While it is the ideal core, right? You need 6 stars and up to like make that work. Maybe not for Gohan, but definitely for Rose and Zamasu, you need 6 stars and up. I don't understand why Goku Black is bench every single time. Isn't he Blast Attack and Defense? And this is a Strike-based core. Like, you don't need to rely on Green Goku Black to carry you in a match. You don't. This strike-based core can do itself. So I'm not sure why he is there. Trunks, again, he shouldn't be there. Just have, like... who's a strike attack and like Red Super Saiyan Blue Goku is a strike attack and defense buffer, right? You could have just other options there as your bench. I don't understand why they think color wheeling is needed. Color wheeling isn't needed as much as it used to be, right? Especially with, again, 2 units here that can go neutrals. Zamasu on his green, Gohan with someone dead. You can go neutral there. And this team isn't meant to sustain, right? You have very squishy units. Zamasu and Rose, very squishy. Future Gohan is your, like, eater, I guess you could call him. Like, you can let him die, but it's just not ideal to let anyone die on this team. It's just gonna hurt. And then the third team, I do agree with it the most because Vegito Blue is still very good. You're gonna have him higher stars than these other units, at least if you've been playing for a while. And he does definitely fit this team. Again, Goku Black just doesn't need to be there. Then the last team, it's more blast based, but then I don't understand why Zamasu's there. I think it is better than the first team, actually. I think that first team is horrendous. You're trying to sustain when you don't have any units to sustain. Like, it's just kind of a mixed bag, and mixing, again, really isn't the greatest thing to do in this game. But, it's not terrible. Powerful opponent. Okay, I'm going to go through this one quickly, because I don't think people can really discuss this team, because most people can't run it, right? You can't run a full powerful opponent team unless you have, like, the stars. Even I don't have... Oh my god, the fucking ad! Go back. Go back. Please. Jesus Christ. You can't run this team unless you have the correct stars. Okay, great. Hyundai. Jesus. So the core. Yeah, I don't even have Frieza, right? I don't even know if that core is good. I mean, that's Frieza Force, firstly. But, you don't want to mix. You don't want to mix. I don't understand why they keep doing this. You don't want to mix. They're mixing a blast-based unit with a strike-based unit again. I think if you kind of put Kid Buu instead, who just gets overall damage inflicted, and does better and color synergy with Vegeta and Frieza, you can take out full power Frieza there. You don't need him there. Broly is obviously the HP bench. Green Cooler is a good sub option on a strike-based build, I agree. Then why is there 2 blast-based units? I don't know. I don't know why they're doing that. Again, it's not that important because you can't really run this team. I do think the third one is best, though, because look at it. More strike-based with Rose and DKP. Broly is giving triple buffs to Bojack and double buffs to the others. Green Goku Black should be Green Cooler. I don't know why it is a strike-based team and they have a blast-based buffer as their last unit. Then the bench of LF Broly. Or, not LF Broly. Yellow Broly does make sense. Then the second team is... I mean, Bojack can go either way, right? But it is more blast-based. And I agree that it actually is a very good setup. But I do think strike-based powerful opponent is actually better. Again, you can't really run that team, so don't look too much into it. Don't give it too much stock. I'm just surprised that they're building teams very strangely, in my opinion. Okay, this is interesting. So I'm going to be blunt. This is before Nappa, so I do think if they updated this, Nappa would be on here, be blue, red, purple. But before Nappa dropped, Gresh made a video, and people saw it, and it is Robbery, Vegeta, Frieza. And then you have, what? You could have EX Ginyu bench, Goldo, who's HP, and then whoever else, right? You could have more defenses with, like, Nabana, or more strike attack with Orlin, whoever. That team is the best Frieza Force team. Right now, obviously, yes, Nappa is included in it, but before Nappa, what I just said is the best Frieza Force team. This EX Frieza, no. Look, your Vegeta is going to be your main damage dealer before Nappa dropped, right? He just is. You have to accept that and prioritize that. This Frieza is not a good option. Giving blast attack and defense from a pool, not a good option. LF full power Frieza, while he can do well, strike and blast do not mix. You can't do that. You just it doesn't flow. You can't do it. At that point, you should just take off Grade 8 Vegeta and put this EX Blue Frieza in that spot because you can't mix strike and blast. The Blue Frieza would be a lot better in this situation than Grade 8 Vegeta because, again, you are mixing something. You can't mix. Just optimize that one thing and then go for it. You're giving blast tag buffs to Vegeta. Can't do that. Robbery, obviously, is a better unit, in my opinion, than Frieza in this scenario, the full power one, because the sub countdown on Rush by 10, he can eat the Rush, team heal, endurance, everything else. He can actually do decent damage as well, if you just kind of, swap in and out a couple times, get hit, whatever, and pop main and all that. But Vegeta's your carry, you just have to take that when you pop this team, and you can't really go against it, right? This team will not look as good if you run a mix. You can't mix. I'm going to stress this a lot. Mixing teams does not work out for a lot of teams, and that's definitely one of them. And then God Key, and then I'll just glance over the other ones, right? So God Key, I do think, by the way, Saiyan Saga is better than God Key. I think Frieza Force is better than Saiyan Saga. Just because this new core, man, it's really oppressive. I wish people ran it more with this Vegeta, Nappa, and Frieza. I think it's a lot premium. You need like a 6-star Vegeta, Frieza, Zenkai, and Nappa, but it's a really good team. It's a really good team. God Key, let's see. Oh boy, they feel the need to put a purple here, huh? Okay. I do think Zamasu does make bench on every iteration of God Key. Just having that alternate option and watching a lot of God Key matches and from players, he is a good alternate option. I do respect him a little bit more. But the best core, so they had the sustainable core and the damaging core. Well, the durable core, I guess you could call it, with Gogeta Blue and Revival. The damage core of Blue Goku, Evolution, and God Topo. Very good damage dealing. Not a lot of sustain, because what do you have? Topo, who has cut, Blue Goku, who is tanking in the beginning, and then Vegeta, who doesn't really have much defense. Purple Vegeta Blue, I mean, you could run a better bench than him, easily. I don't think he should be here at all on any of these benches. Zamasu, a good alternate option, given I wouldn't maybe put him on this setup particularly, just because it's a lot more, I can't think of the fucking word. It's a lot more blast-based than strike-based, this first team at least. So I wouldn't put Zamasu there. I just optimize like God Vegeta bench, and then Vados bench, right? Because you have blast attack and defense, then you have God Vegeta, who's going to Zenkai buff your Evolution Blue Vegeta, who really is your big damage dealer compared to everyone else here. At least during the most of the match, he's going to be like your pumping out damage guy. Then God Goku is critical in HP, and he should stay there for every team. Zamasu does fit on the second team, though, pretty well, because Rival Goku is more strike-based, Gogeta Blue more strike-based, then Vados, you don't really care what she does. She's just your healer. She's your she's like your fucking mage in RPG. It's very tedious. Third team, I don't think that works out too well. Yeah, this Revival Goku Evolution Blue Vegeta setup I don't like. You have to prioritize one or the other, right? You can't just kind of slap Evolution Blue Vegeta. You want to make him like actually look like his peak, and his peak would look like Super Saiyan Blue Goku. I don't think he fits on these two. I think it just should be Gogeta Blue. Maybe God Topo could fit, but then you're losing all your sustainability and like actual living. So, I mean, these bottom two I don't really like, but these top two definitely are the optimal God Key setups, right? As I look at Tier 1, just to see what they're at. Nothing crazy. Do they not rate Saiyan Saga? Interesting. I mean, Saiyan Saga is definitely on this list right now, right? They got a lot of us. Sun Family, number 1. And, actually, to, like, if I were to change any order here, Frieza Force, I do feel like is better than Powerful Opponent. Strike Future should be second. Regen should be first. Frieza Force third. Powerful Opponent, I could see it lower than God Key as well. I do think Frieza Force does decimate God Key, though, in this list, right? They're both in S tier, but one's higher than the other. But Sun Family, Super Saiyans, Rival Universe GT, USS, and Androids. I mean, do I disagree? GT is fine. Sun Family could be lower. I mean, I don't fully disagree. Tier 1 and below really doesn't make a difference to, like, everything, all-encompassing. But I do think S tier is pretty accurate. You know, you just change a little bit around, but nothing crazy. I do think Hybrids is best team in the game. Then Saiyans is number 2. Very much close to movies. All three are pretty much tied because you have such broken mechanics, either of revival or healing. You really can't go wrong, right? What do you guys think of this GamePress tier list of teams, not, you know, individual units? And let me know where you guys think Nappa and the new kid Gohan rate on a tier list. Personally, I do think the Nappa is S tier above God Topo, just because teams, God Key being worse than Frieza Force, and his main team being Frieza Force. I do think that, and Saiyan Saga as well. And then Gohan, I would say tier 1. He's not the best unit on any team, and a free-to-play unit replaces him, in my opinion. Let me know what you guys think of everything, and I'll see you guys in the next one.